Yeah, it's pretty personal. I think a lot of you know I lost my lovely mother. I lost my mother and very recently. And it was a very odd series of like, you know how everybody's had a couple of these, right? So she definitely would have had a couple of those, likely a booster.
Yep.
And I'm not saying, and nobody's said that that's the reason.
No.
Okay. But ever since then, everything that was an issue amplified, which is something that a lot of people are noticing with these products, as Jean-Claude likes to call them, products.
Good.
Okay. So, it's so hard to find the words that we can use here. So we'll say those products that they've been pushing on everybody to put in their arms.
Yes.
Anyway, so a series of unfortunate events and everything that could go wrong with something that started out minor, we'll just say it like that, turned into a big, disaster and leaving of Earth plane. Now, my personal opinion about people leaving the Earth plane, I'm just going to say, like at one point, I can be really detached because I know in my heart spiritually. I've looked at this my whole life and I just know in my heart. My sister left in 2012 and she feels closer. Like I've never felt closer to my sister. And I feel actually really close to my mom.
That's fabulous.
I just feel their souls dissipate into everythingness and you have them everywhere. You just have to think about them and there they are. So a lot of people don't have that ability, I understand. And that takes work. It takes work to get to that place. And it doesn't mean you don't love them. You absolutely do.
Oh, yeah.
And of course we miss them physically. Of course we do.
Oh, 100%.
But you can feel them if you just open up to it. And I actually feel really close to my mother.
That's great.
I do. So we're not saying that it was a direct result of those products, but it is suspicious. And a lot of people are going to be experiencing family members. And if they're elder, it's always going to be questionable. Did they leave? Because we know what the dark ones have been doing and what their plan was. And then, of course, there's been a whole lot of other people, not just the elderly, leaving very suspiciously or even more suspiciously. Obviously, when you're in your 80s, could have been anything. Like, you can't. Nobody's going to blame it on that. Yeah. Because even if you know in your heart it would have been that, you're not going to win that one. That argument with your rest of your family members. But didn't you have somebody quite young very recently?
Yeah, I lost one of my cousins in December. It was very unexpected, and of course she had the product, which I'm definitely not blaming because she had other health issues, of course. Yep. And one of them happened to be exasperated at a very inconvenient time, which was very not normal to her lifestyle. So it was very suspicious. And of course it hit very home, and she was quite young. She was going to be 41. Yeah. Which is still quite young for a passing, right? If you all think about it, right? Still a little too young.
So a lot of people are saying that this is the beginning of a whole series of maybe years where people leave here en masse. Now, whenever I look at it, I never get as many. I'll just repeat this. Yeah. Just so you know my intuitive thoughts on it. I've done many readings on that because I know the stories and they're like, literally, we're going to lose thousands of that, millions.
Somebody said about half, which was a lot. Yeah. That seems a lot.
Like read the guidestones, Georgia guidestones, look those up and read them. That's really what this whole thing's really that laid out the whole plan a long time ago. They dropped that in a field a long time ago for the humans because, we know that karmically, they know they need to, have a version of disclosure. Right. So, this is how they get away with it. Or think they do, I guess. Think they can get away with their plans.
Plans.
Okay. Well, we told everybody, we put those Georgia guidestones out there. So we told everybody what was coming. Okay. And we put it in movies. We put it in songs. We put it everywhere, right? On the news. It's really been spelled out really. And if anybody's doing their homework, they would know even 20 years ago, you can see obvious plans for a huge them trying to take out a lot of people.
Huge event.
What we wanted to kind of look at tonight was, because we're all facing losing family members.
Mm-hmm. And grief is never easy.
Yeah. And under possibly suspicious, that could related to this product. And what was our first question?
Definitely advice on how to handle our relatives leaving the earth plane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just any type of
more
guidance.
than usual, too.
Yeah.
We're going to see more than usual.
And this is going to be a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I still know lots of people who haven't lost anybody in their lives, right? I've been grieved my whole life. I've lost multiple people throughout my life, so I'm used to it. Mm-hmm. But there's lots of people that aren't, so that would be a good one.
Yeah.
Is there anything we're supposed to be learning from this mass experience?
Yeah.
Right? Because we're all going
it's a huge human,
right?
The whole world's experiencing a similar thing. And in particular, people that are awake, we're watching this. Like other people, they're just assuming, they're having a bad run.
Yeah.
Right? They're having a bad year. All these people are leaving. That's what they're going to assume. We know those sheep are going to assume that unless something comes out real soon and wakes those people up. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at people that'll make all kinds of excuses. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to look at a little bit of channeling though. Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask Ashley if my mother has anything she wants to tell our audience, because we know she's in the great afterworld universal love energy.
The next step.
Yeah, I there was an eagle hovering over her as she was leaving us. Right. Yeah, and hours before her leaving is when I first saw the eagle, and it was literally hovering over her. Mm-hmm. And then, didn't you want me to?
Yeah,
maybe look
and
into,
since we're looking at Mom, maybe we could look at my cousin and see what her opinion is on this experience.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and if she's got any advice for anybody going forward.
Mm-hmm. So we'll start with the mass leaving. Mm-hmm. What does the universe want to tell us about that? Okay. This time that we're experiencing that, is there a purpose for that we should know more about? Mm-hmm. Like we have a lot of theories. I have a lot of theories about that, but let's just ask what the universe wants to tell whoever's watching here. Wow.
Right.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
So we've got this is my dark cult card, especially when we're asking a question that could potentially be about that.
Yeah,
right?
Is related to the situation.
These times we know that there's a big cleanup going on, and that's what this looks like.
Right?
It's their time to end.
This time is ending.
The universe says their time's up. Time's up for those guys, and that we've gone a long way to really ensuring that their time's up because there's a victory card. So that's actually really good. It's news.
Great.
Okay.
Really good.
And then this Page of Pentacles. So that's in the past that brought us here. So that's a children card.
Yeah.
That's a young people's 12 and under card.
Yep.
Okay. So really it's like the universe pointing back to, this is the things that have been going on that these guys are responsible for are largely done against youth and children and, young people.
Right.
And all the way to, infants. Mm. Yeah. So that's literally horrifying. So I feel like the spirit world's like, enough. We're done with that. So that's why we had to do this. This is a drastic thing happening, but they're taking drastic measures because a drastic thing is happening.
For sure.
Yeah. And then look at that outcome card. She's all about the boundaries.
She's all about boundaries.
So we've been talking a lot about boundaries. Boundaries, the lack of, believe it or not, got us here.
Oh, for sure.
Allowing everybody to take our power.
Yes.
And not all of us, of course, but generally as a human race, we really did just keep giving away our power. Think about even 150 years ago in London, England.
Right.
Right. So there's watch Downton Abbey. Right. Nobody could get out of their place. You were born in a certain place and that's where you were for your whole life.
Right. It took a lot to change class levels. Oh my God.
Almost impossible.
Yeah.
Right. So things like that just won't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And it feels like time to stop those kind of things. We're getting more Aquarian. We're getting more everybody's on equal standing.
Yeah.
Unless they prove that they are a despicable human. Right. So here we've got, so boundaries to keep our own things to ourselves. So
Right.
not giving away our powers.
Not giving our
Right.
powers.
So that guy's holding on to things that are
Keeping
his.
things close to you instead of just giving full
Yeah.
trust away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we don't even own property we buy because we pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
We actually don't own it.
Nope.
So we don't own anything really.
Nope.
It's like sneakily made it. So we're like, really, we don't own anything.
Yep.
So we got to change all of that, you guys. We have equal rights to be part of this world as supposed elites and or people that have been considering themselves to be, certain families on the earth plane that like to think they own everything. Right? You guys know what we're talking about. We're talking about the dark cult families. Okay, so we're going to heal that. We're going to heal what we've been, how we've been just giving away our power.
Right. Taking it back.
Better
and
boundaries.
making it our own.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if all these souls did agree to this experience, right? Is it written in?
Yep.
Because this is what we have known from the beginning is that we write in certain events that we must experience as humans.
Yep.
So let's see if this is written in or if this is not written in.
Or was this snuck up on us?
Right?
Okay. So, was this known like as part of the what was going to come no matter what?
Mm-hmm.
Or was this something they sort of snuck up on us? Right away, Ashley noticed we got the magician here.
Right.
So kind of a 50-50 with
50-50.
Yeah, he's tricky.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't think they knew it. Like, I don't think it was written exactly how it was going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think was known was that the time for that group of people we've been calling the dark cult to end their reign, that part, they were bumping into the end of they karmically couldn't go on doing what they were doing.
Yeah.
But it looks like it was a matter of how exactly would that happen and look? How would the humans help manifest that for themselves? How fast were we going to do it? All of that felt like that's still a work in progress.
Right?
So we're a big part of this. We're a big part of moving past this.
And we also have to remember not everything is written. Not everything is set in stone. There's so many different timelines we can take.
Yeah.
So it was written in, but they weren't sure how it was going to go down.
Yeah. We still had a lot of leeway to play.
There was a lot of play there.
How much do we want to suffer? How much do we want to not suffer? How fast do we want it to go? And that's why various different psychics, mediums, channelers are getting various different stories. And they could all be right. They're getting the potential timelines that we may or may not choose as we go.
Depending on the mass collective, what cities we're in, what areas we're in. So that's why I was like, oh, okay.
With that ace, so that's a big yes. Mm-hmm. So it was known, but exactly how. But also I feel like powers that be, so universal knowing, channeled to a certain group. So this is my Mr. T in the White Hats and or the Alliance.
Yep.
So far more in depth. I mean, it sounds sort of silly and childish to say it's Mr. T and the White Hats, but let me get clear what I really mean by that. There's off-worlder intelligence there.
Yep.
There's even our past or our future selves helping with that. There could be quantum computers or one in particular. There's the bending of time knowledge. There's all this knowledge that we still don't know exists, but it exists. Time traveling knowledge, that kind of thing. So that's all going on in the background. So a group of people and off-worlders, potentially galactic helpers. There's all kinds of ways you could talk about it. But essences that aren't maybe directly humans like you and I, exactly, maybe from this time frame. Okay, those entities and energies got together. And I think they were even called together. And they're working together in the background with us, though. But we have a big part of it. We're a big part of it.
Yeah, we are. And our souls have our higher selves have agreements, and they have access to information that even we don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we could even be working, like when we go to sleep.
100%.
We could be warrioring off planet.
100%.
Like we've discovered all of these things.
Right.
It's just incredible, right? We could be living some other lifetimes at once.
Right.
Wow. I think we got enough on why it's happening in a way. It looks like it's for our personal growth. It was meant to. We bumped into when it's time these guys got off the planet. It's just a matter of how quick are we going to learn this and understand why and be a big part of getting them off, getting them out of here. So we had to take part in the ritual of cleaning up our planet and also waking up to our own personal powers.
Yes.
So that seems fairly straightforward to me. I don't know. Yeah. Write in the comments what you think about that. Let's skip to channeling for the viewers from these two beautiful energies that have passed on.
Sounds great.
Do you want to start with your cousin?
Sure.
Yeah, let's start with. Okay, so you think of this is what I'd do if I was in a reading. I'd ask my querent, so the person I'm reading, think about what they look like.
Okay.
And I would often ask, what's their birth date, or say their name. And that's only so they will grasp onto the person's energy.
Yep.
It's not because I'm actually doing astrology with it. I'm actually just asking them to focus in on that person.
Yep.
Okay, so if they don't know the birth sign, I would say, well, focus on what they look like or their name. Sometimes I'd say that. They just have to think of their name, and then now they're calling that essence. So then I channel that they're calling. That's just how I get everybody to focus.
Yeah.
So do you want to just think about what they look like?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So this was very hard. The circumstances surrounding the leaving looks really difficult when you look at these cards.
Yeah.
And there could have been some in their past substance abuse. Yep. And living in a lot of fear.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yep.
Living in a lot of fear and maybe some self-loathing.
Well, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of us have, right?
Yeah, of course, right?
Yeah, but them leaving wasn't expected in any way, so they didn't have any kind of heads up about it.
I don't think anybody did.
Any kinds of heads up. And when they're talking about what's going on in the world today, they were very much avoiding, it looks like to me, what was going on. So they didn't want to really know about it.
Didn't want to get into it.
They didn't want to get into
That's
it. They didn't
fair.
want to see it, it feels like. So they were in avoidance. That's what they're telling us. And this is them telling us that.
Yeah.
Right. So they're divulging this. That's why we can talk about it, because they could tell us, shut this down, and we would. But when you channel, you get told if you can talk or not. And we're talking.
What they want you to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were very much in fear, and things were very hard. They weren't understanding the world at the time they left. So they weren't, I wouldn't call them red pilled, if you don't mind me saying.
She wasn't super red pilled. She was aware. She knew.
Something was funny.
Yeah.
But maybe you spend some time avoiding things.
Of course.
Because sometimes we could slip into abusing substances to avoid, dealing with reality.
Yeah, which a lot of people have been doing.
Yeah. Now, with that 6, though, I feel like since they've left, which, by the way, them leaving was quite a shock.
I could see that.
Like, it looks like it was shocking, frankly.
Yeah.
And it had a lot to do with they were really imbalanced. Something got really imbalanced in their system.
Okay.
Yeah. And so things got really imbalanced, and it created a disaster. I think a human mechanism, like our physical body self, is really delicate when you really think about it. When I watched what was happening with my mother, it's so delicate. Like when one thing goes wrong, and then this thing isn't functioning, and then that thing goes, and then, okay, this thing doesn't do what it should kick in, but it didn't. And oh my goodness, so many things could go wrong. It's a miracle we even get through as much as we do.
Right.
Honestly, it's just literally miraculous. But this person had a lot of imbalances, and things just got really unhinged, really.
Right.
Yeah. They're feeling in a much better place, though. And they're also telling us that we're moving out of troubled waters.
Moving into a much better place.
Yeah.
So the advice with the Lovers in the Tower for us could definitely be keeping balance.
Keeping balance. Good one. Because things are going to get ugly, but then we're moving out of the storm.
Paying attention to your body, especially because it's so delicate, right?
Yeah.
What we're eating, what we're drinking, our stress levels, personal time.
Was your cousin a mother?
No.
No.
To kitties?
Oh, sweet. I feel like they're planning. So they're giving us this really interesting. They're planning on coming back and becoming a mother, because it was something that they were missing.
Oh.
They want to experience motherhood. So they're already planning another lifetime.
I love it. Good.
Yeah, so that is interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. But as far as the world situation, I think you're right. I think they're saying we need to stay really balanced. But I also get things are going to get a little crazy.
Yeah.
We know that's coming. But we're going to ride it out, and things will get way better after the crazy.
Right.
I know it's been crazy, but it's going to get even crazier. we know it's going to get crazier. And then we'll ride out of it, and it'll get a lot better after that crazy. Wow. Thank you. Thank you to your cousin.
Thank you, cousin.
Beautiful. Okay, let's ask about the bird.
Okay.
Let's ask, was the eagle there to collect my mother's soul, or was that a totem animal of hers and she became the raven? Was that my sister, the eagle? Was that my sister? Because my sister also considered an eagle totem, and she'd passed on. She might have been waiting. So just what was the eagle that I saw? What was that all about?
Okay.
See if she wants to tell us.
All right. So we have our 10 of Pentacles, the Ace of Wands. So it was definitely family member. And in the past, we have our 2 of Cups. Definitely your sister.
Somebody she loved.
Loved it. And your sister usually showed up as Queen of Pentacles.
She did.
So it's always nice to have somebody come and greet us on our way out, which is great. It's a good sign that you're on the right direction.
Yeah.
And then we have our Wheel of Fortune with our 6. No, that's our 7. And our Knight of Wands. Wheel of Fortune. So that happened really quick for Mom. And then with the 7 and this Knight, that's interesting.
That could be my brother, because he was her youngest, and he's a Leo.
Oh, okay.
And he's unfortunately also experiencing a lot of health issues, and unfortunately could be related to things we were talking about.
This is true, right?
You know, but that's just my opinion.
Because this is a little bit of
his opinion, right?
Little bit of a struggle, little bit of a victory, and then of course our Knight card, right? So I was like, interesting.
I wonder if she thought she could help him from the other side more, or
Probably.
be of more help.
A little bit of advice, maybe.
Yeah.
Now that she's over there.
Yeah.
Right. We get different help from our ancestors.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah. It almost feels to me like she thought she could help from the other side there.
It almost feels also with this double wand on the left hand side. This could be a family totem.
Ooh, eagle.
Right.
Oh, exciting!
No big deal. Right.
I love it.
Cool.
Okay. Wow.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eagle.
Let's see if she wants to give our viewing audience anything, and we'll know if she doesn't. We'll respect that, but let's just see.
Okay.
Would she like to say anything in parting about our world situation? Just now that she's on the other side and knows everything.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the Lovers again. So that's interesting with the balance.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. That came up again. And the Fool. And the Knight of Pentacles in between. So definitely keeping balance. But this has to do with, definitely with the Knight of Pentacles, I'm getting like your body. Like taking more care of your body. Which is interesting. So this could be with like cleanses and food and exercise. Right?
He's kind of... he's kind of careful.
Right, he's careful. He traipses through and does his duties, right? And we have this King of Wands in the past. That's pretty interesting, eh?
You think she might be given a nod to that there really is a group, like the Alliance or something?
Or like a different type of afterlife. Because we know Mom wasn't super spiritual. She's more religious.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Wow.
So definitely with the spiritual nod.
Whoa.
Right? It's kind of nice.
So she sees things maybe a little differently.
Definitely.
Than
what she was.
Here.
Yeah.
Wow. What do you think this is saying down here?
Well, of course, the 7 is a lot. There's a lot for advice going forward. And then our King of Cups with the 8, that definitely seems to really pay attention to what you're saying, what you're hearing, what's going on. Be discerning, strategic, and try not to get too down. That's definitely, because if you get too...
Right.
And I know it's really hard. It's not the easiest to monitor our emotions. But if we're getting too in our feels, it definitely doesn't look like it's going to be good. Right? And we talked the last one about our emotions. Right? And it is really hard to pull ourselves out of a slump. I know. Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you get in a slump and you're like, okay, what's going to pull me out of this? Funny movies, good food, going for a walk, watching funny animal videos is my big one. Right?
I like to call up Ashley and just do a fun adventure day with Ashley when I'm getting too bummed out.
Right.
And you know what's interesting, Ashley? My mom had Libra, I believe, in her moon.
Oh, okay.
She was a Taurus cusp Aries sun, but moon in Libra. So likely born on a full moon. And she was very balanced. She lived a very balanced life. Like she never overate or underate.
Mhm.
She was always really good at, she gave herself treats, but didn't just live for treats. She ate really healthy, generally speaking. Like she was a very balanced woman, actually.
Nice.
Yeah. And so that makes sense that she's coming from that place and giving us advice to be mindful with that 7, like be
Mhm.
strategic about how you're using your feelings
Right?
and don't just get caught up in them.
And of course, with the swords, is paying attention to what's going on in the media and on the news and on papers, and of course, all of our people that we listen to, certain channels, certain YouTube, certain Instagrams, wherever you're getting information. Always second guess everything.
Yeah.
Make sure it really does resonate with you.
Feel in your heart how it is. Just because I said
Yeah.
it, Ashley said it, or somebody else said it, doesn't mean it's right for you.
Yeah.
You got to feel in your heart what are you creating for your future.
There are so many different people here living so many different lives, and not just one direction is going to work for everybody. So you got to figure it out which one works for you and your life path.
We're getting away from gurus and we're going to self-mastery. Thanks to my mama.
Right? That was
Thank
kind.
you so much for watching.